J.M.J. Krakow, October 20th, 1935. 8-Day Retreats. Eternal God, goodness itself, whose mercy is incomprehensible to every intellect, whether human or angelic, help me, your feeble child, to do your holy will as you make it known to me. I desire nothing but to fulfill God's desires. Lord, here are my soul and my body, my mind and my will, my heart and all my love. Rule me according to your eternal plans. After Holy Communion, my soul was again flooded with God's love. I rejoiced in His greatness. Here I see distinctly His will, which I am to carry out, and at the same time my own weakness and misery. I see how I can do nothing without His help. Second Day of Retreat. When I was about to go to the parlour to see Father Andres, I felt frightened about the secret is binding only in the confessional. This was a groundless fear. One word from Mother Superior set me at ease about it. Meanwhile, when I entered the chapel, I heard these words in my soul. I want you to be open and simple as a child with me, with my representative, just as you are with me. Otherwise, I will leave you and will not commune with you. Truly, God gave me the great grace of complete confidence, and after the conversation, God granted me the grace of deep peace and light concerning these matters. Jesus, eternal light, enlighten my mind, strengthen my will, inflame my heart, and be with me as you have promised, for without you I am nothing. You know, Jesus, how weak I am. I do not need to tell you this, for you yourself know perfectly well how wretched I am. It is in you that all my strength lies. Confession Day. From early morning, the turmoil in my soul was more violent than anything I had ever experienced before. Complete abandonment by God, I felt the utter weakness that I was. Thoughts bore in upon me. Why should I leave this convent where I am loved by the sisters and superiors, where life is so tranquil, where I am bound by perpetual vows and carry out my duties without difficulty? Why should I listen to the voice of my conscience? Why follow an inspiration coming from who knows where? Wouldn't it be better to carry on like all the other sisters? Perhaps the Lord's words could be stifled, not taken heed of. Maybe God will not demand an account of them on the day of judgment. Where will this inner voice lead me? If I follow it, what tremendous difficulties, tribulations, and adversities are in store for me. I fear the future, and I am agonizing in the present. This suffering continued with the same intensity throughout the whole day. When in the evening my turn came for confession, I could not make a full confession, even though I had been preparing for a long time. I received absolution and left, not knowing what was going on within me. When I went to bed, the suffering grew even worse, or rather, it changed into a fire which penetrated all the faculties of my soul like lightning, piercing me to the marrow and to the most secret recesses of my heart. In the midst of this suffering, I was unable to bring myself to do anything. Your will be done, Lord. At times I could not even think these words. Truly, a deadly fear had taken hold of me, and the flames of hell were touching me. Toward morning, silence set in, and my tribulations disappeared in the twinkling of an eye, but I felt so frightfully exhausted that I could not even move. During my conversation with Mother Superior, my strength returned bit by bit, but God alone knows how I felt throughout the whole day. O eternal truth, Word incarnate, who most faithfully fulfilled your Father's will, today I am becoming a martyr of your inspirations, since I cannot carry them out, because I have no will of my own, though interiorly I see your will clearly. I submit in everything to the will of my superiors and my confessor. I will follow your will in so far as you will permit me to do so through your representative. O my Jesus, it cannot be helped, but I give priority to the voice of the Church, over the voice with which you speak to me. After Holy Communion, I saw Jesus in the usual way, and he spoke these words to me: "Lay your head on my shoulder, rest and regain your strength. I am always with you. Tell the friend of my heart that I sue such feeble creatures to carry out my work." After a while my spirit was strengthened with great power. Tell him that I had let him see your weakness during your confession, to show him what you are of yourself. Each battle valiantly fought brings me joy, peace, light, experience, and courage for the future, honor and glory to God, and in the end, for me, a reward. Today is the feast of Christ the King, October 27th, 1935. During Holy Mass, I prayed fervently that Jesus might become King of all hearts, and that divine grace might shine in every soul. Then I saw Jesus as he is depicted in the image, and he said to me, "My daughter, you give me the greatest glory by faithfully fulfilling my desires." Oh, how great is your beauty, Jesus, my spouse, living flower enclosing life-giving dew for a thirsting soul. My soul is drowned in you. You alone are the object of my desires and strivings. United me as closely as possible to yourself, to the Father and to the Holy Spirit. Let me live and die in you. Only love has meaning. It raises up our smallest actions into infinity. My Jesus, truly I would not know how to live without you. My spirit is welded to yours. No one can really understand this. One must first live in you in order to recognize you in others. Krakow, October 25th, 1935. Retreat resolutions. Not to do anything without the permission of my confessor and the consent of my superiors in all things, but especially regarding these inspirations and demands of the Lord. All my free time I will spend with the divine guest within my soul. I will safeguard my interior and exterior silence so that Jesus can rest in my heart. My sweetest repose will be in serving and obliging the sisters, in forgetting about myself and thinking of how to please the sisters. I will not offer explanations on my own behalf or seek to vindicate myself when criticized. I will let others judge me as they will. I have only one trusted friend in whom I confide everything, and that is Jesus, the Eucharist, and his representative, my confessor. In the midst of all sufferings, both physical and spiritual, as well as in darkness and desolation, I will remain silent like a dove and not complain. I will empty myself continually at his feet in order to obtain mercy for poor souls. All my nothingness is drowned in the sea of your mercy. With the confidence of a child, I throw myself into your arms, O Father of mercy, to make up for the unbelief of so many souls who are afraid to trust you. Oh, how very few souls really know you. How ardently I desire that the feast of mercy be known by souls. Mercy is the crown of your works. You provide for all with the love of a most tender mother. J.M.J. Krakow, October 27th, 1935. Father Andres, Spiritual Counsel. Do nothing without the consent of the superiors. One must think this matter over thoroughly and pray much. One must be very careful about these things, because in your present situation, sister, the will of God is certain and clear, for you are in fact bound to this congregation by vows, and perpetual vows at that, so there should be no doubt. What you are experiencing interiorly, sister, are only the glimmerings of a project. God can make some alterations, but such things are very rare. Don't be in a hurry, sister, until you have received more precise knowledge. The works of God proceed slowly, but if they are of Him, you will surely recognize them clearly. If they are not, they will disappear, and you, by being obedient, will not go astray. Speak frankly about everything to your confessor, and obey him blindly. For the present, sister, there is nothing more for you to do than accept the suffering until the time when everything will become clear. That is, all things will be resolved. You are well disposed as regards these matters, and so continue in this simplicity and spirit of obedience. This is a good sign. If you continue in this attitude, God will not allow you to fall into error. Still, as much as is possible, keep far away from these things. But if despite that they still come your way, receive them calmly and do not fear anything. You are in the good hands of a very good God. In all that you have told me, I do not see any illusion or anything contrary to faith. These are things which are good in themselves, and would indeed be good if there were a group of souls pleading with God for the world. As well, all are in need of prayer. You have a good director. Stay with him and be at peace. Be faithful to God's will and carry it out. As to your duties, always do what you are told to do, and as you are told to do it, no matter how humiliating or toilsome it might be, always choose the last place, and then they themselves will say to you, "Go up higher." In spirit and in your demeanor, consider yourself the least in the whole house and in the entire congregation. In everything and at all times be most faithful to God. I desire, O my Jesus, to suffer and burn with the flame of your love in all the circumstances of my life. I am yours, completely yours, and I wish to disappear in you, O Jesus. I wish to be lost in your divine beauty. You pursue me with your love, O Lord. You penetrate my soul like a ray of the sun, and change its darkness into your light. I feel very vividly that I am living in you as one small spark swallowed up by the incomprehensible fire with which you burn, O inconceivable Trinity. No greater joy is to be found than that of loving God. Already here on earth we can taste the happiness of those in heaven by an intimate union with God, a union that is extraordinary and often quite incomprehensible to us. One can attain this very grace through simple faithfulness of a soul. When a reluctance and a monotony as regards my duties begins to take possession of me, I remind myself that I am in the house of the Lord, where nothing is small, and where the glory of the church and the progress of many a soul depend on this small deed of mine, accomplished in a divinized way. Therefore, there is nothing small in a religious congregation. In the adversities that I experience, I remind myself that the time for doing battle has not yet come to an end. I arm myself with patience, and in this way I defeat my assailant. In no ways do I seek perfection inquisitively, but I probe into the spirit of Jesus and fix my eyes on his deeds as summarized in the gospel. Even if I live 1,000 years, I would not exhaust what is contained there. When my intentions are not recognized, but rather condemned, I am not too much surprised, for I know that it is only God who scrutinizes my heart. Truth will not die. The wounded heart will regain peace in due time, and my spirit is strengthened through adversities. I do not always listen to what my heart tells me, but I keep asking God for lights. And when I feel I have regained my equilibrium, then I say more.